Top 10 horrible tech fails of all time. Number 1. Napster. The company also emerged at the turn of the millennium, back in 1999. The idea itself was ingeniously simple. Users could share files. The company was set up to share music, without any centralized server. Users were simply delighted with the free download of content, but the music played did not last long, and soon the music industry took up arms against the company, calling the file exchange a theft. Users justified the uncontrolled file sharing by the fact that most music albums have slipped to the level of just a few good songs, which is how money is made. However, Napster was doomed to litigation. The loudest and most recent for the company was a lawsuit from Metallica after a new song, I Disappear, appeared on Napster a few days before its official release. The company may have existed for a very short time, but it became one of the founders of the peer-to-peer system, the advantage of which is the lack of strict control over users and free exchange of data between users, even though copyright infringement has become its Achilles heel. Number 2. Blackberry. Before the iPhone, there was the Blackberry, or Crackberry, as device-obsessed users affectionately called them. These iconic devices were the first smartphones for many. At that time, phones that could connect to the internet, send and receive email, and communicate with each other through BlackBerry Messenger made a splash. In 2011, the company sold over 50 million devices, which was a real breakthrough. However, a stunning takeoff was soon followed by a significant decline in sales, which was due to the company's inability to revise its own concept of exclusively push-button phones, while iPhones, with their touchscreens, began to boldly conquer the market, thanks to clearly more functionality and convenience of sensors, compared to the usual ones at that time. Buttons. By 2016, BlackBerry was selling only about 4 million devices a year. Today, the company resembles only a modest shadow of itself in the past. However, it paved the way for ultra-powerful smartphones, without which our life today is simply unthinkable. Number 3. Apple Newton. One of the main directions of development of Apple in 1993 was the development of a pocket computer, which was equipped with a handwriting recognition function and was also supposed to become a compact and portable replacement for bulky and non-mobile personal computers at that time. Apple Newton was persistently manufactured and refined for a full 6 years, but they never achieved commercial success. Firstly, they were quite expensive. The cost of the device reached $1,000. And secondly, it was quite a stretch to call them pocketable. The device did not fit into any standard pocket, although it was relatively small. Plus, there were big questions about handwriting recognition, which made it much more difficult to work with the device. As a result, the company was forced to close the project and declare it unviable. Moreover, around the same time, Palm Pilot pocket computers were released, which were much cheaper and more compact. Despite this, Palm Computing also did not achieve much commercial success and was sold to HP in 2010, producing more and more unsuccessful models. In any case, the development of pocket computers was revolutionary in its own way, as it allowed computers to be portable and laid a solid foundation for the development of the era of smartphones. Number 4. General Motors Electric Vehicle 1. Today, no one doubts that the future belongs to electric vehicles. If we solve the problem with the limitations of the battery charge, then we can say that this is the most successful transport today. They are quiet and environmentally friendly, and also very elegant, which can be perfectly observed thanks to Tesla, which is constantly gaining momentum. It seems more obvious than ever that electric vehicles will be an important, if not key, part of our automotive future. Elon Musk's company is in the lead, selling almost 500,000 cars in 2020 alone. But few people know that these electric cars had a fairly eminent predecessor. The first production electric car was produced by General Motors. The GM EV1, available between 1996 and 1999, was a success with a small number of rental customers. Fewer than 2,500 cars were manufactured that were not commercially available. But in the end, GM decided that electric cars were too niche activity, which led to the curtailment of production and further development. However, the modern renaissance of electric vehicles suggests that there is a market for them, and now GM is back in the game with its Chevy Bolt. Number 5. Windows 8. Windows 8 in 2012 was the biggest reimagining of Microsoft's concept, which was completely unsupported by users. As planned by the company, the interface of the new operating system was to be indistinguishable when working on any device. It was assumed that the future belongs to integrated devices that combine several types of modern gadgets at once. This was the main miscalculation of the tech giant. Consumers didn't know what to do with Microsoft's colorful, mosaic Metro interface, aka flat design that worked great on Surface tablets, but was completely confusing on laptops and desktops. which would go on to make up virtually the entire Windows 8 market. Flat design as an idea was later taken up by more successful developers and turned into a beautiful and convenient tool that underlies, for example, modern Android Lollipop. This kind of influence is an interesting example of how an invention can be used better and more effectively than the inventor himself. In addition, many regretted that the iconic Start button was removed in Windows 8. Number 6. Google Glass. Probably only a person who went far into the mountains 15 years ago to practice meditation and did not get in touch with civilization all these years has probably not heard about Google Glass. Google can boast of probably the most publicized and largest gadget launch of all time. Few devices were as popular as Google Glass, which the search giant unveiled in 2012. From skydivers broadcasting their jumps through a device to glossy stars, everyone was promoting the new device. But as the Google Glass star shone brightly, so quickly it was destined, if not extinguished, then to turn into an almost unattainable and invisible dwarf star. The market turned out to be unpredictable. Just few people agreed to wear such glasses, even despite the many useful chips they offer. In addition, buyers were not ready to pay $1,500 for the device, and many public places, such as restaurants or cinemas, banned the use of glasses because no one likes to be recorded without his knowledge. At the moment, the project is alive, but reoriented to the specialized needs of industries, where the technology has found its modest refuge. Number 7. Segway. Perhaps no gadget is reminiscent of the beginning of the millennium like the Segway, a personal scooter that users control by leaning in one direction or another. Designed as a revolutionary new form of transportation, the Segway today is used primarily by police, tourist groups, or sometimes shopping malls. However, the expectations of the founder of the company, Dean Kamen, were, to put it mildly, more rosy. He has repeatedly stated that the Segway is, no less, a new stage in the evolution of transport, which will soon be able to replace cars. The base model cost about $3,000, while the more advanced versions reached $7,000. However, already in 2002, the unreliable design of the devices was discovered. In addition, users were never able to figure out the purpose of this device. In some countries, it was recognized as a vehicle, which made it difficult to use and required the user's rights, as well as the regulation of traffic rules for the Segway. After these events, Segway sales dropped significantly, and in mid-2020, the Segway factory was closed. Number 8. Pebble. Apple and Samsung may have popularized smartwatches, but Pebble was the first to take it seriously. Pebble initially became the most funded Kickstarter product of all time, grossing over $10 million in 2012. Subsequently, the company even acquired several app development companies and watch faces to launch an independent production cycle. But the market for smartwatches at that time was too small for the highly specialized Pebble to survive for a long time, especially when the world's largest tech giants entered it. In December 2016, Pebble announced that it would sell its technology and other assets to Fitbit. However, versions of some of Pebble's early ideas can be found in modern smartwatches. Number 9. Amazon Fire Phone. Inspired by the success of the Kindle, in 2014, Amazon decided to make a night's move and release its own smartphone, thinking something like, "Why are we worse?" The promising name did not produce a fiery effect, but rather the opposite. The smartphone turned out to be, frankly, weak. Realizing the extent of the failure, the company lowered the price tag on the Fire Phone from $199 to 99 cents in the first month after the start of sales. By the end of the year, the company suffered losses of $170 million, and already in 2015, it was forced to abandon its venture and close the project. Number 10. Microsoft Zune. And finally, let's take a look at another Microsoft project which has also sunk into oblivion. The company could not calmly relive the success of the iPod and decided to create something similar. This turned out to be the main problem, as Robbie Bach, former president of Microsoft's Entertainment and Devices division, later admitted. The company was just trying to catch up with the computer without offering its original concept and product vision. The only advantage was the ability to exchange tracks between users, but in reality, the task was implemented in a rather controversial way. The license agreement allowed listening to